Welcome, Saratoga. It's a beautiful day here in the city, and the weather is hot and the skies are beautiful. I want to talk a little bit about what's going on in the city, and after that, today we have an important guest from our Los Gatos Saratoga Recreation, and we're going to talk about what you can do with your kids this summer. So we got great information. First, let me talk about the statistics on COVID-19. Everybody's seen sort of the data, 5.7 million people worldwide, 1.7 million people in the US infected. As of today, 100,000 people in California. The United States crossed 100,000 deaths yesterday, which was unfortunate. The good news in the United States, the hot spots we were seeing a month ago in Massachusetts, Connecticut, especially New York City and northern New Jersey, those areas have started to taper off. The bad news in the United States is local to California. Los Angeles County, which is 10 million people, so it's pretty sizable, they reported more new cases yesterday than any state in the United States. Their data is not actually looking very good, even though you hear about them opening up. So almost 90% of the new cases in California are south of San Luis Obispo. In cities like Los Angeles, 32% of their intensive care beds are now used for COVID-19 patients, and that number is rising. So while we hear about opening up, the reality is the data is indicating that there could be some problems, particularly in Southern California. Now for us locally, Santa Clara County, again, I remind everybody, we're doing an exceptional job, but we're not out of the woods. I just need to say that clearly. We've had 8 deaths in the last 2 weeks. 2/3 of those were in long-term care facilities. So our death rate is now exceptionally low. 0 is the goal, and we get many days that are 0. And then our growth rate of new people being infected, that number is a little higher for the last couple weeks. But again, if you recall, we actually opened up some. We allowed construction and outdoor landscaping and gardeners and more curbside pickup. And so we're actually mixing around in the county a little bit more. And so there was an expected uptick, but any uptick makes the county health officials very nervous. This disease remains very contagious, and it unfortunately is deadly, and there is no treatment. Let me bring up the main county website here. If you go to the county COVID website, Santa Clara County COVID-19 is what I Googled, but I got the URL in a second. Their main website has some important information on it. So the county health director talked about 5 key indicators, and they have to do with hospital capacity and infection rate and deaths. They also include things like building an organization to successfully do contact tracing. That way, if somebody gets it, we can figure out who they've been in contact to isolate those people to keep the disease from spreading. They have a website page on testing. There are a lot of testing facilities in the county, and I've been talking about this for 2 weeks. The county now has the capacity to do over 4,000 tests a day, and they're only utilizing half of that capacity. And so if you have any symptoms, they really, really want you to go get tested, particularly if you're in one of the essential and high-risk categories. And I know you're thinking police and fire and medical workers, but you got to get a little broader. Grocery store clerks, they're in contact with hundreds of people a day. these are the people that are on the high priority list for getting tested. But if you have any symptoms, please contact your doctor and please get tested. And then one of the last ones that's a useful resource is sort of the social distancing protocol. And we all hear the stay 6 feet apart, but it is more than just being 6 feet apart, right? Indoors, 6 feet apart is worse than outdoors, 6 feet apart. There's a lot of stuff that goes into this. And I want to point out, we tell everybody, wash your hands, don't touch your face. Gloves do not actually change anything. They just make it easier to wash your hands. Because if you still touch something with your gloves and touch your face, that's the same gloves or no gloves. In fact, if you go to the larger hospitals, you go to Kaiser to pick up a prescription, they won't even let you in the building with gloves on, right? They get left at the door and they sanitize your hands and then they let you in. And face masks, we all have our face masks. These ones my daughter sewed for me, quite fashionable. Face masks are not a shield. They're not infinite protection. They do afford you some protection, but mainly they're there to help you from transmitting to others. And this is one of the problems with this particular virus is many people go several days before they even know they have it. So Sarah Pearson, and a lot of you guys know her, she's a pastor over at Prince of Peace Lutheran. She has the most beautiful statement I thought about wearing masks. And she says, love thy neighbor by wearing a mask in public. It's not about you, it's about who you might accidentally infect because you don't know that you have the disease. So I really want to make a shout out for masks. If you are in any business within Saratoga, you're required to have a mask on. So I know some people feel that that's a violation of their rights. We're not doing it because we feel like we're violating somebody's rights. We're doing it to keep our fellow community members and our neighbors safe from the virus. So please, I implore everybody, when you're out and about, please wear a mask. We're all getting used to seeing each other's in masks. I know it's awkward, but that will be good for us. Let me go to the next screen here. Also from the county main website is their dashboard, the myriad of statistics that they track everything. You can find out how many people in Saratoga. You can find out by zip code. You can look up all the different long-term care facilities. So this is today's data. 24 cases is higher than the 14 case goal that they have. But if you look at the red graph on the bottom, you can see that we had a peak in April and it came down dutifully. And then you can see, beginning of May, early May, we started loosening things up. And there's a little bit of an upward trend. The county health officials are watching this very closely. And then one of the other key metrics they had was hospitalized. How many people are hospitalized? And 54 represents only 8% of our hospital beds for ICU. So not very many people are hospitalized. We're doing excellent. I'll just say that. We're doing excellent in Santa Clara County. But just that little bit of opening that we did a few weeks ago has shown changes in the numbers. If you see where that 43 is, there's an upward trend. And hopefully we're kind of overcoming that, but it's hard to say. The only way that we can be open is if everybody can sort out the social distancing rules and the hygiene rules to keep each other safe. If these numbers go back up the way they were before, there's going to be no choice but to go back on a shutdown. So anyway, you can find all this data if we hit the next web page. All of this data is available from the county's website. And here is the link. I never type in the whole link. I just always Google Santa Clara County and then coronavirus, and it takes me right there. So that's what we have for the data. Again, the news in California could turn a little bit more gray in the coming weeks if Southern California can't come to grips with their growth rates. And so if you have friends or family in Southern California, and I do, tell them to be careful. And up here, we got to keep doing what we're doing. All right, so next up, I have a resource slide for the city that I was hoping to show. So in Saratoga, there are many organizations that are providing assistance. I always list these three. For seniors, we have SASE, Saratoga Area Senior Coordinating Council. They are providing services from food delivery, rides to doctor's appointments, resource for financial help, for help preparing your taxes, which are due in a couple days, even after the delay. If you're a senior or know a senior who is in need of some assistance, they have their new phone number here, 408-621-7526, or you can go to their website. And then for the entire west side of the valley, there is West Valley Community Services. Saratoga contributes to this organization annually. With the outbreak of COVID-19, we took some of our remaining discretionary money from this current year's budget and allocated to them, and we're making some contributions to them in next year's budget, which starts on July 1st. This organization is super important. They provide assistance to all age groups and all categories. They do run our local food banks, but they also help with rental assistance and other resources. If people suddenly lose their job, there's a lot of complications, and this is a good place to go to help. And then the last one is our Chamber of Commerce. There are a lot of businesses in our city that are open in some limited capacity. We love our local businesses. I mean, we love to be able to go to Mountain Mike's and get a pizza. They still have half price Tuesday, or maybe it's 40% off Tuesday, discount on Tuesday. We love the Basin, downtown. There's a lot of restaurants that we love. But here's the thing. If we can't find a way to support them during this time, they're not going to be able to survive to be open when we all can go back into the restaurants. So please go to the Saratoga Chamber website. They're listing all the businesses in the city. They're trying to keep it refreshed with all their hours of operations and contact information. And I encourage you, it's a little more complicated, but try to eat out. Well, eat in, but get food from outside your house a couple of times a week. Again, the fine restaurants in our city are going out of their way to be able to provide, some of them curbside pickup for groceries, but some of them complete meals, and some of it's even deliverable on services like DoorDash. So support our local businesses, and that way they'll be there when we get back. All right, so next up, I think we got James Lindsay, and our city manager. Hey, James, how's it going?
Hey, good morning, Howard.
Hey, so a couple of things. City Hall is providing all the essential city services, but it's not open, right? So what's our state right now?
That is correct. All of the essential services continue to be provided, and many of other resources you can find on the city's website. So if you do see any problems in the city that need attention, please do find those resources and those phone numbers at the city's webpage. We have crews that are staffed during the week to take care of those issues. We also have our permit center that is open with, again, phone calls, emails, and we will do some appointments on an as-needed basis. So if you need to sit down with one of our staff members in building or planning to help with your construction project, that service is also available to our residents.
We've expanded some of our services over there. Contractors can now do some of their plan submittals and stuff online.
Yeah, we are working over the coming weeks to increase that capacity as much as we can to be able to do virtual submittals, online plan checking. All of those services are coming. Okay. However, again, what we're trying to do is continue the service delivery model, but in a whole different electronic space, right, with online payments, online submittals. So all of that is coming in bits and pieces.
Yeah, well, if I'm a homeowner and I need a permit for my hot water heater, or I need a tree removal permit, their applications are on the website for those, right?
Yes, they are.
Excellent. All right, then I always got to ask, city parks. City parks are mostly open.
And they are open, absolutely. The only thing that we haven't been able to completely open up are the playgrounds. Those remain closed under the county's order, but everything else is open. The fields have always been open. Trails are open. Restrooms remain open. Tennis courts are open for those that want to play tennis with family members within their household. So again, we encourage folks to come out and enjoy this great weather.
And bocce is open.
Bocce is open, and Kevin Moran. That's right.
Yes. You got to know all the details. So every park, and I know a lot of people's kids are bored, but there's a park in pretty much every corner of the city to visit. And if those get boring, I highly recommend Quarry Park. And then, well, not directly a park, Hakone Gardens is now open, and it is beautiful. There is an admission fee, except for the first Tuesday of the month, which that's coming up next week. So if you've never been to Hakone Gardens, go check out their website, get a feel for it. But it's a beautiful and tranquil setting, and they're back open, which is all good news. I think I've already talked about local businesses. James, do you have any comments on local businesses?
No, I think just to reiterate, Howard, I think that all of us here in Saratoga and can really take action to support our local businesses. We have some of the retail stores are gradually to open up into the curbside services that are now allowed under the order. And all of us, I think, can take a part to help support our local economy. And as many of you know, the businesses in Saratoga all tend to be small, independently owned businesses. And so that ongoing support is critical. So I really appreciate your call to action to have folks come out and support the local economy.
And I got to point out the strawberry stand on Saratoga Avenue is open. And they have the best strawberries, fresh from South County. And the cherries have been wonderful this season. And they have their 6-foot cones down the sidewalk to keep your social distancing. Though as I watched it, it looks like the protocol is you drive up and you wait in your car until it's your turn. Then you run up and get yours. So even strawberries are available. So some of the normal things that we've had for decades in our city are starting to come back. All right. Graduations are going on right now, and the county has come up with a way for schools to have drive-through graduations. And so, each school is working to sort those things out. But as a parent, I'm sure everybody is worried, what am I going to do with my kids for the summer? It's already been tough with them home and them having to do school. And so today's show is going to bring an answer for that. So I think we got a slide here for the Los Gatos-Saratoga Recreation Organization. You may not know, Saratoga had partnered with this organization last year to become our exclusive provider for all the recreation programs offered within the city and within the region. And this organization's been around for decades, providing great programs for all of our kids and adults, I should point out. And today, if we can get Nancy and Emily to pop on here. So we have with us today Nancy Rollett and Emily. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce your last name, but Nancy can introduce you. So anyway, we have those that have done all the work with us today. So Nancy, please say hi and introduce yourself and Emily.
Good morning, Mayor Miller. Thank you so much for inviting Los Gatos-Saratoga Recreation to Saratoga Sunnyside Up. I'm joined this morning by Recreation Manager Emily Sprugasci, and as Mayor Miller introduced me, I'm Nancy Rollett, Executive Director. We really appreciate the opportunity and the introduction to speak to the Saratoga community about recreation, and it's really timely with schools beginning to wrap up for the year. Parents are naturally concerned about what might be next. And so I want to start by sharing and acknowledging how COVID-19 has really affected recreation and school services, childcare. As you mentioned, you alluded to, Since 1956, our agency has been providing services to Los Gatos, Saratoga, Montessorino, the mountain communities and the surrounding communities, Cupertino and Campbell. And we've served thousands of families, and children have literally grown up in LGS recreation, a combination of participating in camps and enrichment programs, and maybe they had parents who were both working, and so they were involved in the childcare after school. And many of them have come back to work with us on a seasonal basis. So we have a really rich experience in the community, and it has to be said, traditionally, most of our programs are in-person programs. And that is part of our mission, to provide an opportunity for the community to come together for social and emotional support. It's not just taking a course or a program, it's actually sharing with your peers and your colleagues and having that rich experience as part of the fun recreation endeavor. And so early on in our shelter in place, we reached out to parents, we reached out to the community to survey them and find out what their priorities are and their interests are in recreation. And there was, of course, a lot of uncertainty about when all of us would be released from shelter in place, what that would look like, and what, you know, a post-shelter looks like in terms of participating in programs. But what I felt was interesting is we had an outpouring of support. And the primary concern that most parents have is with the social and emotional well-being of their children. It wasn't so much the focus on making sure that they kept up with the academic rigors. I think there are programs in place for that. We certainly have worked a bit on that, as well as we partner so closely with the school districts that we serve. So this morning, we really appreciate the opportunity to share with parents the many options that are available for summer programming for their children. I'll do a little bit of background on this and share with you particularly the school services side, the Vasona boating side, and aquatics. And I want to have Emily touch on the recreation side. She's front and center with all of those details. So as you stated, all of our programs ceased. In-person programs ceased and childcare ceased as of mid-March in observance of the shelter in place. And we were really constrained by the small group restrictions and the social distancing guidelines and the lack of facilities. Our top priority and our leadership team's top priority has been the health and safety of the families that we serve and also our staff. And we've stayed very close to our professional organization. In California, it's CPRS, California Parks and Recreation Society, and our colleagues in that professional organization to brainstorm and to share resources. And I'm pleased to share that some of the developments that we will share this morning are among the first in the South Bay to be rolled out. So we view our role here as being very innovative here in the South Bay, and we're excited about what we have to offer. Naturally, some programs don't lend themselves to distance learning. And so earlier this month, we had to make a difficult decision to cancel the Summer Enrichment School program, which is both in Los Gatos and Saratoga. On the Saratoga side, it would have been at Saratoga Union School District, several of those campuses, and we were planning to employ over 60 teachers and over 600 participants. So that's a 4-week program that we did have to cancel. There was just no way to really lend itself to distance learning. Since March, we've really pivoted the business to virtual programming, virtual recreation, and I know Emily will speak to that a bit, but we made an initial foray of up to 30 vendors who are offering online virtual programming. It's right there on our website, lgsrecreation.org. And now I believe we have over 200 vendors, potentially even more. So I'll have Emily speak to that in a moment. For the programs that we are going to be offering in person this summer, we're observing, of course, the county health guidelines for social distancing, for staff, personal protective equipment, temperature checks for all staff and students. We have very rigorous and enhanced cleaning procedures, no commingling of supplies or equipment, and there is a guideline of 12:1 for student to staff ratio. And it's really important to know that the student remains in the group of origin. They don't swap groups, so they're protected in a very small group environment. There are many other protections that we're building in place, and we're actually working on an infographic for our website and e-blasts and social medias to outline what we're doing to protect everyone's health.
This sounds like we're going to have You know, I lost count. You guys have always offered so much, but the programs that seemed most interesting to me, and when I have 5 kids, so we used you guys for 2 decades. Outdoors, you guys are going to do some outdoor classes this summer, right? We're going to get some of those back.
Sure. Let me have Emily speak to the outdoor programming in
Okay.
the parks in Saratoga and also Saratoga Union School District.
Okay.
Absolutely. So we, as Nancy mentioned, we mobilized very quickly to online learning, but we recognize that our community is ready to get outside as safe as possible. And we really encourage people to do that, to continue going to parks and public spaces. And with that in mind, we have adapted a number of our specialty programs and our sports programs to hold them outside. Obviously, each summer we have protections in place to run some of our sports programs. Certainly, I am a parent of 2 young boys, and I recognize that the heat is a concern and access to facilities, and we want to assure all participants that we do have protections in place for that as well. And we are looking at some of our specialty programs that are traditionally indoors. We're looking at moving them outdoors. Whether it be art programs, we are looking at carpentry programs, we are looking at theater programs, science. So there is still a lot of enrichment and academic programming that will be offered, but certainly in an expanded space and in all of our wonderful parks and places throughout Los Gatos and Saratoga.
And summer is about swimming.
Summer's about swimming. We are working closely with Los Gatos High School to open up the aquatics program. That program is unique. Some might say that one of the safest places to be during the COVID-19 is actually around chlorine and sunlight, 2 great disinfectants. But where it's most of a challenge is what you're doing before and after getting into the pool. So it means we're going to have ample space on the bleachers. We're going to have some modifications to the changing rooms, access to restrooms and the like, and then there'll be a way to enter the pool area and a way to exit, and those are separate and distinct from one another. So we're working closely with Los Gatos High School to put those protections in place, but we have every expectation that that will roll out. Along that line, Vasona Boating is related. That's a program we've been operating for several decades. The targeted opening date right now is the weekend of June 13th. We are still working with the County of Santa Clara on the clarifications for making sure that the protections that we're building in are going to meet their needs and their expectations. It starts with online reservations and a touchless check-in program. And we're going to be offering paddle boats, kayaks, stand-up paddle boards, and possibly more. We're working right now on the details around disinfecting the equipment. Disinfecting rental equipment seems to be the biggest challenge right now with the current shelter-in-place guidelines. So we're working through what those details will look like. So we're excited about that. I do want to go back to the Saratoga community and share that on the recreation side at El Quito Park, there are going to be World Cup and Kids Love Soccer camps and skills building. Okay. Again, the idea is that no one is touching the equipment. In other words, they have either their own equipment or they're doing drills and skills building in a way that allows them to interact with the coach and one another, but still have distance. There's also going to be a Skyhawks basketball camp at El Quito Park. On Redwood Middle School campus, there's going to be a basketball camp from Top Flight and also Valley Sports and Multi-Sports Camp. So we're doing it with all of the guidelines in place, and we're making those modifications that are necessary so it's safe play.
So when parents bring their kids every day, what should they expect?
I can speak to that. We are following county guidelines, general recommendations in terms of contactless check-in. So parents can expect that they will be greeted by a member of our staff. Temperature checks will be made. We also have additional health screening protocols that a brief questionnaire that we will ask and log for the duration of the program. Students will be, welcomed into the space, whether it be outdoors or in an indoor facility. We are asking that at drop-off that it is 1 adult per child, And we are asking that adults do not enter the instruction area. So there will be a level of distance and specific staff that are allocated towards checking our students in. The program throughout the day, we will obviously continue with sanitation practices. We will continue to monitor the health of all of our participants. And then the checkout process will be much the same. We ask that parents, wear PPE equipment, have a mask as they arrive, and then their children will be, safely given back to them, ready for camp the next day. And I do also want to share, if I may, that in addition to our enrichment programs, our sports programs, that we do also have a licensed preschool on the Argonaut Elementary School campus in Saratoga. It's World of Discovery Preschool has been in operation for decades as well. And we are excited to state that we are reopening on Monday, on June 1st. We are following all the guidelines of the county, of the CDC, but we additionally, as a licensed program, are following all of the efforts of and requirements within ratios for licensing. We are utilizing professional resources through early childhood educators. So we are very excited to bring that program back on. That information is also available on the website, and it is for all 2-year-old to entering kindergarten children.
That is going to be a very sought after resource in this city, but somebody has to go first. And, it's good to see you guys getting out there, moving to these boundaries and figuring out all the protocols and procedures so our kids can be safe.
If we have a moment more, I'd like to share a bit about what we're doing on the school services side. For those who have children who participated in our Clubhouse program, we have 6 sites at the Union School District and Los Gatos, and we were formerly at the Saratoga Union School District, so parents are familiar with the program. Starting on the week of June 8th, we're doing Clubhouse Camp on Cam. So that's an in-person, that's a virtual program actually for an hour a day. The very first week, we have a couple of fun themes, and I want to get out there and promote them. One's Let's Get Crafty. The other is STEMulation. Some of our popular programs starting the week of June 15th, American Girl Doll, emojis, and the final week of the program is Hogwarts and Acts of Kindness. So really fun themes, and parents and children can participate virtually. We're going to begin a 2-week half-day in-person camp serving essential workers. Right now, that includes essential workers, outdoor businesses, government employees, minimal business services, and the like. And if that gets expanded, we'll certainly include more. That'll be at the Adult Recreation Center in downtown Los Gatos for a 2-week camp, starting the week of June 15th, and then the week of June 22nd. And those are half-day camps, and they're beginning in the morning from 8 a.m. to 12. So additional options for parents. Space is limited, so everyone's encouraged to go to lgsrecreation.org to sign up now.
I guess that's the thing, is that we shut down hard in March, and now, with the experience and the guidelines, we're getting to open things back up, and not everybody's going to know, and the capacity is limited.
Yes.
So,
and we do also want to share that, as Nancy mentioned previously, we moved to online programming in March, and it's not just for children. We do have programs all the way from birth, all the way through our senior community, and those programs will continue through the summer. When you go to our website, you will see there is a virtual recreation page, and we highly encourage students of all ages. We will continue to offer programs for adults that include language, finance, art, a whole myriad of program offerings. Those will continue through the summer. And we also do have resources very closely aligned to SASE, a senior service agency. We do have our 55 plus program, and we are regularly reaching out and providing resources to our seniors as well. So whether it be videos of health exercises that you can do from home, additional community resources, our senior coordinator posted a video of how to tie a bow tie to keep it classy at home for all of our adults. So we really encourage all of our community to go to the website, see what we have to offer, and we encourage everyone to keep learning and moving throughout the summer.
And you guys have done so much already to respond to this situation. I want to look forward just a little bit, and you might not be able to say much, but we're all hoping that our children will be able to go back to school in fall. You touched upon Clubhouse, but it's more than Clubhouse. All of the programs that you guys offer were always an important part of the school year. How are you guys looking at the fall? How are you looking forward?
We thank you for asking that. We take our cues from our district partners, and I know that the half dozen superintendents here in the South Bay are working very closely with one another to have an alignment in their policy and how they're going to return students to school in the fall. Those details are yet to be made available to us. I know they're exploring a lot of options, including splitting up the day, having an A or a B day, meaning some may attend on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and others attend on Tuesday, Thursday. I think for the upper grade levels, they're still exploring the possibility of a combination of in-person and the online educational experience. That rolls into the need for childcare. So regardless of whether children are participating remotely or they're in person for instruction, parents are likely to be returned to work, and there's going to be a great need for childcare. So we stand ready and available to provide that. I think the thing that we're looking for is any adjustments that would amend the 12-to-1 student to staff ratio, because the scalability of offering in-person care for hundreds of students is going to be a challenge and will require a lot more classroom space. So we're working very closely with our district partners to identify not only the timing, but what that looks like. And it's very possible it'll be a phased approach where what we're offering in the fall is a little different than what gets offered in January.
Yeah.
I know that's perhaps not a direct response to what you're looking for. I mean, I think the message here is we continue to monitor the guidelines from the state and the local health authorities with the hope of expanding program offerings, not just for summer in July and August, but then what that looks like for childcare as we get closer to fall.
That was exactly the answer, which is you guys are on top of it. And I think that's the big message, is that the virus came, but you guys never went away. You guys have been adapting and responding to the extent the health department will let us to be able to provide programs to our citizens. So I'm grateful for all that you've done. Is there any last program that you want to mention, any class that you think somebody might want to sign up for?
I mean, we love all of our children, so we really enjoy all the new programs that we're bringing in. We've also brought in some additional sports instructors. We have some. If you look on our social media, if you find us on Facebook, we do have a number of resources and online programs. Our main goal right now is to keep people moving, and our goal for summer is to really get people out in the safest way possible. So we really just encourage you to look on the website or give us a call. We are available. You can always reach us by email or by phone, and we'll be happy to help you find something for you and your family.
Excellent. Nancy, any final words for us?
Thank you for including us this morning, and it's important that we continue to remain in touch with the community. As Emily stated, seek us out on social media. As things are fluid and they change, we want to stay connected with the community and let you know what we're offering.
Okay, great. Thank you guys for being with us. If we could put back up the slide that has their URL, that would be useful. So here's where you got to go, lgsrecreation.org. And from there, you can sign up for a myriad of classes, or at least see what's offered. Because I think as time unfolds, parents and everybody will get more comfortable with this. But I know there are some kids right now that really need to be outside running around. So we look forward to all that you guys are doing. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks. Okay, so let me go on to our city resources. So a lot of stuff that we talked about today, we have a main landing page at the city of Saratoga, saratoga.ca.us/resource. Please go there to find out what's going on. And then local resources within our community, our seniors, their phone number and their website, West Valley Community Services. I gotta say, for some of these organizations, you may not need services, but you may be in a position to help these organizations. I know that all of them are resource limited right now, and I would appreciate any help that's possible. And then on the last one, the Saratoga Chamber of Commerce, as I mentioned, our local businesses need our support now more than ever. So please try to find a way to eat out, try to find a way to buy something local. Okay, that's what we have for our show today. We will be back next Wednesday, 9 o'clock. And hey, go outside and enjoy the sun, but bring your mask. Thanks for being with us today.